Every once in a while, you come across something strange as you surf the internet. In this day and age, it seems like someone is always trying to get you to watch something, to play something. But recently, I found something different on itch.io. A game I wasn't supposed to play. A game none of us were supposed to see. Roam0120. If you want to give this game a try, I'll have a link to the download in the description. I warn you though, this game is not for the faint of heart. While it may seem like an ordinary trip to a house at night, it is anything but. It's a game of distressing visuals, harrowing themes, and terrifying sounds. Join me as I take you through this nightmare, uncovering all the secrets I can as this game tests my ingenuity and my sanity. Roam0120's itch.io page doesn't give us much information. I shouldn't release this file. I hope I won't get into any trouble. All photographs were taken by me, on 2 separate days, several years apart. My memory is rocky, so I'm not sure about the validity of all the elements shown here. This program was made entirely by me. A few images were found by Baptist H, an old friend of mine. You can download it for free by putting 0 as the price. I might update this file in the future as I recollect the memories. This is not a completed work. I don't know when I will come back to it, but things will change. Not much to gather from here, so let's download it and look for ourselves. Opening the folder gives us 7 files total, 6 photos and the Roam0120 exe. The photos are strange, to say the least. Cold.png is a photo of what looks to be stars in the dark night sky. It almost looks like a face, actually. img_4363.jpg is a photo of a dead tree and the night horizon behind it. Return.jpg is a wall in a dark corridor, with what seems to be some sort of symbols drawn on the wall. Shift.png is just a photo of a hanger on a dirty floor. Unused.jpg is a close-up shot of what looks to be a water heater. It's a bit tough to make out. Finally, well.jpg is, well, a well. Before I analyze these photos further too much, I'd like to explore the game and get some context. Don't worry, we will be back to analyze these when the time comes. The game opens to a photo of a lamp, seemingly in the woods. The photo only makes up a small portion of the screen, and there is no HUD, making the game difficult to understand at a glance. I hit escape to see the options menu and nothing. Tab, space, enter. None of these seem to do anything at all. All I have is a small white square that acts as my cursor. I move it to the left edge of the photo and it becomes a small rectangle. The next picture appears, this time a driveway leading to the exterior of a house. So this is how we move around this game, clicking from area to area. The game lacks clarity. There is no way to know where you can move until you hover over it and see that you can click. This isn't a poor design choice, however. It's a calculated decision. Not knowing where you can go and having to rely on blindly swinging the cursor muddles your sense of direction and leaves you with a lingering feeling of unease. Going around the house, I find a small note. It says ERU password, with a set of directions on it and the enter key. It also says do not enter if he's around. What is this password for, and more importantly, who is he? Another note, this time on the floor of another garage area. Don't go in. Hide the keys in a bush. Creepy, but it gives us a much needed goal. Find the key and get inside. I make my way further out and find myself in some sort of garden. Now at the top of the screen is a small map, showing the area, which will be useful for keeping my bearings. Not too well though. Even with the map, it's still really hard to know where to move where I want to. After struggling to make progress, I come across a patch of garden I can interact with. You are deeply unsettled by what you dug up. You decide to leave it there where you found it. A black box remains, censoring whatever was dug up. I think it's for the best. I get to a new area of the garden and find a drawing scrawled on paper. It says, "Listen closely," with a drawing of someone standing under a tree. The ambient sounds in this game are terrifying. It seems like normal noises you would hear alone at night. But are we alone? I don't think so. A path to the right of the garden has an old basketball in the grass. In gray, hidden in the corner of the text box, it says, "It belonged to a boy." Someone who lives here, perhaps? In the garage, I find a set of drawers with our first piece of progress, the garage key. This opens the garage and lets us peek inside. There is a desk littered with tools and supplies. In a plant pot, I find some hair. Carol's hair. But who is Carol, and how do I know? Under the car, I find a small device labeled question mark, question mark, question mark. Not much to glean from that. Outside of the garage, I move to the right and find a tree. It almost looks like the tree from the drawing. No way to interact with it, though. Back to the garden. Finally, after stumbling around the garden for a while, I find a small bush on the corner of the house. The key the note mentioned, the entrance key. It opens the locked door here in the garage. You feel a bit weak. Your head hurts. Despite your glaring discomfort, you decide to open the door anyway. The inside of the house is just as disheveled as the outside was. Directly in front is a room containing some sort of generator. To our left is a small room with controls to a boiler and a strange controller. ERU, it says. Clicking doesn't do anything. That note from before had a code on it. Let's try that. Bingo. The first option is the temperature in the boys' room. So a boy does live here. Or at least did. The next option is at waves amount. No idea what that is though. The third button makes the controller say shock sent. I mess around with different values, but I don't think I made anything happen. Back in the generator room, I see a note on the wall. It reads ATW warning, AT program. So it's AT, not at. I flick around the knob on the AT remote a bit before deciding to move on to the room to the right of the entrance. It looks like an abandoned rec room with broken walls and trash everywhere. It's littered with boxes of unused wires and bottles of urine. Hidden in this broken section of the wall is a rusty key. Wonder what this opens. On to the next room, and I head into a closet-looking room. Inside is just a breaker box and a chair. I click the breaker and... Should I have done that? Next to this room is a squash ball court with a sensor box in the corner. I keep stumbling across increasingly grotesque scenes. What did they do here? But more importantly, what do I hope to achieve by being here? Over on the right side of the room is a barn door. Numbers are scrawled hastily into the wood itself. As I'm jotting down the numbers for later, I'm starting to see things. I go explore a bit in the main rec room and come across a game of some kind. Nowhere to go though. After walking into a few walls, it tells me I'm stuck and kicks me out of the game. Let's come back to this later. To the left of the squash room is a staircase area. There's a door frame, an empty shelf, and a file cabinet. Sadly, this one doesn't have any keys in it, instead filled with strange hand-drawn schematics and incomprehensible research papers. I head up the stairs. The top of the staircase is a cluttered mess, even worse than the downstairs. I go into the room directly in front of the stairs. It's disgusting, and so much of it is censored it's difficult to make out what I'm even looking at. The walls are filled with strange writings, and the tables are covered in used cigarettes. Looks to be someone's office or bedroom. It's much more lived in than the other areas so far. The room has more of those AT machine research papers. AT emitter. Some kind of radio device? Mind control? I head back out to explore the rest of the upstairs area. Right above the stairs is a nook full of old and broken furniture. On the shelf there's a torn piece of paper. It's the game we found before. The drawing shows a path opening up and a code. I run down to give it a try. Back upstairs, I find a hanger in a closet. Not really sure what I can do with these items really. The game doesn't provide any info on them. The keys are self-explanatory, but these less descriptive items are going to take some resourcefulness to put to use. As I was exploring the rec room again, I saw something new. Behind the machine was a wall with something written on it. I had actually seen this before, but now when I come here, the top of the screen says, "Press C to use cash." Pressing C on my keyboard grays out most of the screen, leaving only some of the text left. It also says 5 of 6 in the corner. Seems like there will be 5 more of these to look for. I run back to the wooden barn door from earlier. It also had strange text written on it, so maybe this will work there as well. This one is 1 of 6, 4 more to go. Back in the rec room, I go right. There is another room filled with random knickknacks like children's cassettes and a TV. We can even turn it on. There is a door here that leads to a back room. It's filled with fancy looking chairs and a red curtain, almost like a theater. Looks like it's being used for storage now though. It's stacked to the brim with random junk. In this junk is a small red box. I don't know why we shouldn't keep this. Surely any information can help us. This isn't the first time the character hasn't done something of their own accord. It's more like we are exploring with the character rather than directly controlling them. Combine this with how much of the game is censored, and it paints a picture of working our way through another's experiences rather than being the person experiencing them ourselves. I also find a fishing hook. I guess this could be useful. Back upstairs, and I move down the hallway and turn right. There is a ladder leading to an attic and a room behind it. Let's start with the room. Like most of the upstairs, it's filled with junk and clutter, making it difficult to find anything worth noting. Towards the back area, I find a note amongst a box of papers. "We call him the Dweller. Do not move if you meet him. They mostly left because of him." So there is someone else here. Let's head up to the attic. There's also a pipe up here. Clicking it echoes a hollow clang throughout the house. Nothing seems to change though, so I move on for now. I go back downstairs and see a door to the left of the staircase. I had seen this door before, but there wasn't a way to open it or interact with it. Now though, I can use the hanger on it and pick the lock to open it. It leads to a concrete hallway, lined with locked doors. This is beginning to look more like a prison than a house. Down the hallway is a large door covered in a tarp of some kind. To the right is a locked door. We can enter it though. Must be the rusty key, though it doesn't say. The room has a boiler in it and a control panel. Clicking the panel shows the message, "You cut the electricity." Okay, so that button turns off the electricity. But to what? Through the door now. Further down the hallway, more doors. I open the door at the end of the hall. It's dark. I can't see a thing. The only thing I can do is move forward. More forward. Forward again. Am I even making progress? I continue forward. Again. Again. I was so used to moving forward, I zoned out and I clicked right as it told me not to. That must have been the Dweller the notes earlier talked about. I should have heeded their warnings. The game closes itself after that. Did I save? Can you save? Turns out, this game doesn't save any progress. If you want to finish this game, you have to do it all in one attempt, with no mistakes. I open the game again and quickly grab the 4 main items outside. The 2 keys, the device called ... and Carol's hair. I go inside and head over to the rec room. I grab the rusty key from the wall, then head over to the machine. I already wrote down the code from the last run, so I can input it and grab the cash. I grab the hook from the theater room, then head upstairs for the coat hanger. While I'm here, I notice the wooden door leading into the office area has a cache clue as well. 3 of 6 added to the collection. Down the prison hallway and I get back to the room with the electrical control panel. Before I enter this time though, I click the sensor box next to the door, giving us the bottle. In the room, I click the electrical control panel, but instead of telling us we cut the power, this map appears. It looks familiar to me. Remember those photos I mentioned earlier? Before I reopened the game, I took a quick look at them. Well.jpg looks normal at first, but you can just barely make out something written in the inky black darkness of the water. Zoomed in, you can see it's a map. It's labeled Corridor, Stairs, and Boy Room. The boy with the ball? Could this be the room the ERU machine controls? The panel has 3 options: unlock all doors, lock all doors, and lock corridor. I press unlock all doors and the red dots disappear. Those must have represented the locks. The white dot immediately darts out of the room, and before I can react, it runs down the corridor. Does that corridor represent the long dark one we went down before? If it does that mean he is in here with us? Not much I can do about it now. I walk back down to the ERU controller. I have to keep an eye out for... Let's go again. I grab the keys, the device, and Carol's hair. To the rec room for the cash and the rusty key. Flip the breaker, go upstairs for the hanger, then back down for the hook. I pick the lock with the hanger and hook to get to the prison hallway. Now I can grab the bottle and head into the room with the control panel. Now it's doing this again? Why did it show me the control panel before but cuts the power now? I go into the dark corridor. This time I pay attention for the dweller. Now that I know the trick to it, I can move through this area safely. I get to a door with a phone next to it on a wall. No one's home. Opening the door uses the question mark device. We finally found a use for it. This room, much like many others in the house, is filled with boxes of documents and is in a state of disrepair. As I'm reading the entry, my vision starts to flicker. The screen shakes and warps as a droning noise gets louder and louder. It keeps building until... we get taken to a small room with nothing but a chair against the wall. Leaving the room transitions me back to the ERU control room. What was that? What caused it? Wait, the ERU controller. The paper on the wall said AT waves above 7 would cause physical and mental symptoms. So if we use the controller to turn down the waves, we should be able to enter the room without the AT waves damaging us. As I return to the hallway, I notice I can enter the 2 rooms next to the Dweller's Passage. One is a bathroom with nothing in it, but the other contains an item. Like the bottle, it's censored so we can't see it. It's called Emitter, and it goes to the bottom of our list. Through the hallway and back into the room from before. As I open the door, I remember that this room would be the boys' room on the map. Sadly, I remembered that moment too late. I have to start again now. But actually, that's alright, as I believe I would have had to anyway. Let me ask you a question. How many of you noticed that in my second run-through, I had forgotten to flip the breaker box? When the control panel would say, "You cut the electricity," it wasn't telling us that pressing the panel was turning off the electricity. It was telling us the panel didn't work because the electricity was already cut. By not flipping the breaker before I went to the room, I was able to use the controls to deactivate the door locks. Knowing this, the run I was on was already doomed, as I had turned off the electricity before dealing with the boy. If there was anything in his room that I needed to progress the game, I would never be able to get it. This game has an order to it. I'll need to not only solve the puzzles as I progress through the house, but also progress the phases in the right order as to not lock myself out of any items. With that in mind, I start my next run. We start the same as before, grabbing the 4 items outside the house. Inside, I stop by the AT generator to see if I missed anything last time I explored it, and the same blackout as the boys' room happened again. Turns out the generator itself gives off over 7 waves and can cause the blackout. Now I can quickly grab the next 4 items: the cache, the rusty key, the hook, and the hanger. I decide to explore a bit before I go back to the dark corridor and interact with the control panel. The attic was interesting to me, so I head over to investigate it some more. I wonder if this noise does something. Well, that isn't what I was expecting, but it's another item to add to the list. Alright, let's go figure out that control panel. I go to the hallway and enter the room to activate the panel. According to the map from earlier, this area locked off here is a set of stairs. If I can get the boy up there and lock it, I should be able to enter his room safely. Here's the plan. I unlock the door and let the boy out. He should bolt for the corridor like last time. This time, however, I'll lock just the corridor so he's stuck in the main area. My hope is that he will go up the stairs instead of back into the room, and if he does that, I can lock all the doors again, locking him out. That actually went better than expected. I leave and grab the bottle on the way out. Now I can make my way past the dweller and enter the boys' room. It looks like a wine cellar. That must be why the ERU controller has a thermostat specifically for this room. This room is the most censored so far. I can only imagine what we aren't seeing. I find 3 items in the room: a bowl, a TV remote, and a hammer. The back of this room has a long censored area you can click on. The main character speaks as if they've been here before. They reference a video and group that disbanded after a tragedy. They also talk about going crazy, like they did before in the blackout room. They speak of a conspiracy, the AT program. Clearly it's some sort of mind-altering device, but what do they want to achieve with it? They speak about trying to save people. Sadly, we've seen what happened to the ones they couldn't save. I leave through the dweller's corridor and make my way back to the main house. Since I already locked the boy out of the room and found the items, I cut the power and grab the emitter before I forget. Time to see if I can put these new items to use. TV remote seems like an easy first step, as I know of a TV already. Turning on the TV with the remote on us shows a slightly different picture. It looks like something flapping. I can barely make it out. It looks like just some lines to me. Not so easy after all, I suppose. Is it really a shape though? It almost looks like the letter L. I press the L key on my keyboard as a Hail Mary. Sometimes I amaze myself. Let's go upstairs and find that gate. Wait, gate? I've explored the upstairs pretty thoroughly, and I think I would have noticed a gate up there. I go up the stairs, walk towards the attic ladder, then walk past it. Nothing looks different yet, certainly no gate. I walk towards the back of the hall, and suddenly there's a window. Less of a physical gate and more of a warp gate. I hop into this portrait straight out of Super Mario 64 and end up in a forest. All we can do is move forward, and as we do, we approach a house. Was this the house we were in? It has a window up high. perhaps the attic of the house. Clicking it gives us a pill foil, 473S written at the bottom. Medication gets added to our list. Another item down. I think it's pretty clear what to do with the code we got. Over at the ERU machine, I enter 47 for the temperature, 3 for the AT waves, and S stands for shock. It certainly sounds like that did something. I check the area to look for what's changed, but I don't see any differences here or in the generator room. But when I go to the rec room, I stare back into its eyes, frozen. I don't know what to do. I move my mouse. It follows. I click my mouse. Its eyes close a bit. I move my mouse to the top of the screen, then click and drag down, closing its eyes. We are back outside now, and we have a new item, the garden tools. I go back and explore the garden area some more. What better way to use our new item? Nothing much comes of it though. Seems this isn't the next step. As I explore the garage aimlessly for a while, I end up back towards the file cabinet I got the garage key from earlier. This time though, the tools on the wall are interactable. Garden tools. Makes sense. They ask for a password. I have no idea what that could be though. It looks to be 3 characters long. I try YTB, which was the cache code on the wall of the squash room. It zeroes out and nothing happens. Guess I was wrong. I try a bunch of different numbers from the cache without any success. Earlier in the game, I noted that a wall in the garage had W21 written on it. Could that be it? Awesome. This has to be the most straightforward hint we have gotten so far. I immediately run right to the AT generator and wait. The blackout begins. Let's play hide and seek. Watch me from above, with a photo of matches. They get added to our inventory and it's time to play. The hint is from above. The only place I can think of is the top of the stairs where we can look down on the squash ball court. The next spot has to do with being under stairs or floorboards. I'm not sure about where there are floorboards we can look under, but I know of a few staircases, so let's check those out. Doesn't seem to be anything here except the radio that plays a strange broadcast. But if I go up the stairs, then click the bottom right, we can look under the stairs and find him again. A play from the audience's point of view. The next hint. Remember that theater room with the red curtain and all those chairs? If I walk to the barn door and turn right, we find the next spot. Cartridge appears in our inventory. Okay, how many types of cartridges are there? My first thought is an ink cartridge for a printer. I haven't seen a printer yet, but I can keep an eye out. After exploring a bit, I see a typewriter on a desk. Maybe it's an ink cartridge for this? I click around and try typing on my keyboard, but I can't get anything to happen. We'll have to try something else. I go to the room with the TV and kids' cassettes thinking that it might be a video cartridge. Again though, nothing works. What kind of other cartridges are there? Maybe it's a video game cartridge? A special game loads in. I'm blinded by harsh, flashing orange lights as I make my way through this level. It's hard to tell where I am with the graphics being so retro. Maybe a field? Wherever we are though, we aren't alone. You cannot escape the program. You are a target. This must be about the AT Waves program. This confirms what they said in the paranoia room before, that they are being targeted by certain people. People who seek to make them crazy, to discredit them and keep them from revealing what's going on. Then again, it's also possible this game is a delusion, and the character is falling even deeper into psychosis. I make it to the end and see what looks like a bear trap. This brings the game to an end and gives us another item, the matchbox. If this is all the space for the item list, we're almost done. Only a few slots left for things to find. Finishing the game gave us an item, but no other clues to follow. I can't say for sure, but it feels like the end of the hide and go seek sequence. We'll have to start from scratch again to find the next clue. I wander the house aimlessly for a while. At this point, it's become second nature to me. I've seen these rooms so many times, I almost feel like I've been here myself. It's time to go explore outside some more. I recheck the garden, the ball, the tree, all the same so far. Something's a bit different in the garage, however. This gas can has always been on this table in the garage, but now I can click on it. You started a fire, now turn on the light. Bell appears in our inventory. We've seen a light before. In fact, it was the first thing we ever saw. Gun, 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 gun. Escape this prison. Another item, this time a gun. Now, if I go to the tree to the right of the house, I can click on it. Or can I? I click a few times, but nothing happens. I wait and listen. Same as always. I drag the mouse around as well to see if that changes anything. No matter what I do, I can't move forward. Looking at the item list, I notice a gap of about 4 items in the middle of the list. I have a worrying suspicion that this area being seemingly inaccessible has to do with those missing items. I won't be able to go back and get them though. Starting this last sequence with the gas can has once again locked us into a doomed timeline. The items we need to get to the end of the game are most likely lost in the burning building. This means we have to reset and make sure to find those items before we burn down the house. Let's take it from the top. I grab all the items I did before up to the fryer except for the emitter. I leave on the electricity and stop before I start hide and seek. This will be where I change my approach from the last run to make sure I don't mess up the sequence order. From here, I explore every nook and cranny of this place, making sure I double and triple check every room for secrets. After a while though, a sense of dread sets in. No matter what I do, I'm just not seeing a path forward. So, with a heavy heart, I look online for information. I don't want all the answers, I just need to know the next steps so I can start the last sequence and do the rest myself. After searching around, I found my answer. Full credit to French YouTuber Michka for this next part. She made her own video on Roam a few months ago, and this solution is in her video. I'll link it in the description so you can check it out for yourself. Remember those 6 caches from before? Finding them all and putting them together gives you a code. If you take the code and type it into YouTube, a video will pop up. This short video details the steps for the next sequence. Step 1. The typewriter. I was on the right path earlier trying to use it, but I didn't know the right words to type. Turns out the phrase is, "They fled the scene," with no spaces. I don't remember seeing anything related to this phrase before, but it's possible I missed it. Step 2. Go to the blue painting and stare at it. Step 3. In the same room, click on the cigarette table and wait 5 seconds until you hear a sound. Step 4. Go downstairs and click the brick next to this cylinder. Step 6. Go to the squash room and look up to see the Shadow Man. Step 7, return to the empty doorframe on the wall. Except this time, it isn't so empty. We are taken to a house. A normal one this time. It's even daytime now. A note on this book says, "This is how it all started for me. 2005. We are free to explore the house, so I head upstairs. Though I'm not really sure what I'm looking for. Parts of this sequence are censored as well. Even when we get information, we are still missing something. Inspecting objects around the house are giving ominous descriptions like, "They tried to forget," and "There is nothing." While exploring this bathroom, I find two things of note. The first is this radio. When clicked, it plays what sounds like a car alarm. The next is this light switch. Clicking it flicks it on or off. I can't tell because nothing looks different, but I can hear the clicking sound. Hasn't been used in years. Strange, because the house looks normal and filled with belongings. It doesn't give the appearance of a deserted home. I enter the room to the right of the upstairs. There is a CRT TV here. Clicking it tells us calmly not to watch, so I say we move on. Another phone that doesn't work. I head upstairs again to a third floor area. There are two bedrooms. One looks like a parent's bedroom with a crib for a baby in it. The other is a kid's room with a bed and another set of bunk beds. I find a poster on the desk, a missing poster. It's for Carol. It feels like a lifetime ago when we found that strand of her hair. The same poster is framed above the main bed as well. Going back downstairs, I notice another light switch on the wall and click it. Again, it makes the noise. I have a feeling clicking them all will give us something. Keep your eyes peeled. There is another one as I go down to the next flight of stairs, so I click that on my way down. One here by the door as well. Through the door is a living room area with another couple of switches. Strangely, even though it said it was day and the house is illuminated, it looks to be night outside these windows specifically. I find another item, the pawn, another switch as well. There is a note in French on the table that when translated reads, "They found a video." What kind of video? The closet says, "They are all gone for the moment." Did Carol's family find a video that gave them a clue as to her whereabouts? That would explain why everyone left. They went to go look for her. I continue through the house, flicking the switches as I go. This area also has an upstairs with a fairly boring looking room, most likely a guest bedroom. To the right is a second room where I find another item, plush. Seems we aren't too sure. So many beds for such a small family. On the second floor, I find the last room I hadn't yet. It has the teddy bear that gets added to our inventory, and a note with a drawn heart. The text is way too small to read, even when zoomed in, however. Then, after searching the house for a bit, I flick the last switch in the kitchen and a sound plays. Everything looks normal at first, but when I get to the children's room, the missing poster above the bed is missing, replaced by a dark void. Another dark path. Light music plays over outdoor ambiance. The darkness dissolves to a small light far off in the distance. I make my way over to see a small cone on a bench. We get taken back to the nightmare. A warm but brief respite. Love, perhaps the one thing I didn't think we would find out here. This item is the last piece of the puzzle. We have found everything we need. It's time to end this nightmare. Hopefully, peace lies beyond it. First, start the hide and seek sequence, getting all the items along the way. After that, we can cut the power to grab the emitter, the last item in the house. We are about to do something that we might regret, but it's something we can't change. It has to be done. Then, using the bell, we can get the final item of the game, the gun. I will escape this prison. The tree from before can now be interacted with. It takes us down a small path through the woods. There's a swing set out here, and even further past that is a cabin. We continue on our path and it begins to rain, but we keep going. We have to keep going. We have to escape. Finally, we reach a fence, and in front of this fence is a cassette tape. Is the tape for us, or was it already our tape? Here is what I put together. The main character somehow gets a broadcast from a strange facility. Was the broadcast intercepted? Or was it an SOS from someone inside? The main character and a friend named Julia sneak into the facility to try and save the boy from the broadcast. They know you are coming, though, and try to erase the evidence and clear out. You find the boy with Julia not far behind. This boy is mutilated and mutated, a homunculus. He doesn't seem violent, but Julia enters with fear running high, and when she sees him, she fires. You and Julia have to flee after this, but the main character thinks the boy might still be alive. So, years later, he is back. This time alone, and dead set on putting an end to this facility's twisted experiments. The rest of the story is what we achieved with the main character in this game. That is Roam0120. This was an amazing ARG experience. Great puzzles, fantastic atmosphere, and an engaging story that leaves me wishing for more. And luckily for me, I may not have to be wishing for long. The itch.io page says it's not a completed work, so I hope we will have more facilities to roam in the not too far future. But who is this person? The itch.io page, in true ARG fashion, is written from the character's perspective. The real dev is the French YouTuber Feldup, who makes internet exploration and indie horror showcase videos. They are all in French though, which sadly I don't speak. But from what I can put together with auto-generated subtitles, they're really good videos. If you want to know more about this game and the surrounding ARG as a whole, make sure to check them out. Also, make sure to check out Michika's video. It has fully translated subtitles, so it's a good watch even if you don't speak French. Thank you all for watching. If you want to watch more videos of mine, make sure to check out the playlists on my channel. I make horror ARG content, gaming video essays, and more. I hope you have a good day. And if you're watching this video again, I hope your day is twice as good. What was that? I think it came from outside.